Yep. Good evening, everyone. So, yesterday we discussed about JavaScript OOP concept. In that, we learned about what is a module and how we can export, how we can default, and how we can import. These three basic things we learned. So, module is a collection of values and functions, and you can build a library by using module, and we can import and use in any application. But to use module, you need a module system. So what are different module systems? What are the different module systems we have? UMD is a module system. AMD is a module system. Another one, common JS, require JS. This all comes under module system. Module system. That is basic about the module systems. Next, by default, your browsers have common JS. You can use them. Later, while learning React, we will see how to set a module system, how to use any module system like. So in a module, we can keep functions. In a module, we can keep variables. And in a module, we can keep class. So variables, functions, and classes. And what is a class? Yesterday we discussed. So we will today see about class members. What are the class members? So as we already know in general JavaScript, a class can contain property, it can contain method, it can contain an accessor and a constructor. Can you have a variable as class member? Can we have a variable as class member? No, variable cannot be a class member, but can we have a variable in class? Yes, not as a class member, but we can have a variable as a member of any method. Can we have a function in class? No. So why we cannot have variables and functions in class? Because variables and functions are immutable. They are immutable. So here class allows only property, method, and accessor. Actually, what is property? Generally, property is used to configure data. Property is used to configure data and to store data. So in a class, data is stored in a property. How it is different from variable? You can store data in a variable also. But then how it is different from variable? Actually, property is mutable. Property is mutable means it can change the structure. It can change the structure according to state and the situation. It can change the structure according to state and situation. So a class can store its data in a property. Data is stored in properties. And how property is different from variable? Properties are mutable. They can change according to state and situation. Let's prove that point first. We will prove that point, right? Actually, we are declaring a class, and in this class, we are configuring some name, and in this we have a property. Property is equal to some value. Like this, we define a property, and property can handle any type of value, any type of value. That means it can be primitive type or it can be non-primitive type. That means you can store an array object, you can store a number, string, boolean, null, undefined, anything. So data in a class is stored in property. How it is different from variable, I will show you that point now. Actually, I will take one example to make you understand that. Let's go to our project here. In this, we will take a simple HTML screen. I'm just writing a script. In this script, I am defining, yeah, in this script, I am just defining a variable. Variable I am defining as a, suppose, product name. And in that, I can store some name. Like this, I can do. Now, tell me how we can restrict this variable in such a way that we cannot assign any value into it. How we can declare a variable in such a way that you cannot assign a value into this. Once you mention name, that is fixed. How we can do that? By using const. Am I right? You know, we discussed also. By using const, if I define, I cannot assign. If I want to assign, if I want to allow to assign, then I have to use var or let. Var or let. Should not allow to assign, then const. For users whose role is admin, they should able to assign. And general customers should not able to assign. Now how? That means certain users must able to assign. And certain users should not able to assign. Can a variable change its behavior in that way? Can you change variable from const to var dynamically? Can you change the structure of a variable dynamically? It's not possible. That is why it is immutable. That means I want in such a way that for certain users it should allow. For certain users it should not allow. Suppose if I declare with var, everybody can assign. I declare with const, nobody can assign. But it should change according to situation. That means if user role is admin, then allow to assign. If user role is something else, don't allow. Variables cannot change their structure like this, but property can change. How property can change the structure? Actually, property can change its structure by using accessors. A property can change the structure by using accessor. Actually, accessors are used to control a property. Accessors are used to control a property. Actually, accessors will give a fine grained control over property. That means grained control means every part of its you can control. A very perfect control over the properties. Each and every way you can control a property by using accessors. So If you can store data in accessors, in property, then you can control its behavior. But how to control the behavior? By using accessors. And actually accessors are two types. Accessors are two types. We have a getter and we have a setter. This is general JavaScript. If you learn JavaScript, these concepts are already there in JavaScript. I'm just highlighting one more time, just explaining, because JavaScript OOP concepts are same, common, right? These are not new concepts. General JavaScript have this topic. I'm just highlighting, explaining just a brief overview of this, because every day you have to work with these in React. So you need a just brush up of these options to understand. Anyway, in your JavaScript, you will learn detailedly. Accessors, we have getters and setters. Actually, what is the purpose? Getter is used to read and return value. So it is defined like this: get and alias name. Alias name. That is how we define a getter. Actually, setter is used to write a value into property. Here you can say read and return value of property. You can read value of any property and return it by using getter. You can store any value into a property by using setter. That means we define set, alias name, and we take new value. We take the new value and we set that value. That is how generally we write getters and setters. Let's see one example. We will see one example. So I will create here a class called product. In this product, I have a property called underscore product name. That is a property. As per programming traditions, we know that underscore is used as a prefix for any property or method to tell our developers team that it requires further implementation. That is a general tradition. It's a general habit for developers. We use underscore before the name to tell our development team that this is a property which is not finished. It is a property which have further implementation. To designate that, we use underscore as it is a property name. You don't need to give an underscore, but as per project traditions, we do that. Now, I want this property in such a way that it should not allow to store data by everybody. It should allow to store data by only the people who have a role called admin. Others not allowed. Then how we can control this? Actually, we will create an object. Let obj is equal to new product. We create an object for that class. And through obj, I can access product name. And into that, I can store anything. I can store anything into it. So, but I should not allow this to happen. We will verify who is storing. Based on that, we will control it. Then what we do is, see, for that first, we will take here, above the class, I am declaring username. We will take prompt and I say enter name. After that, I ask here role and prompt and I will say your role. Right here, enter your role. Like this, we have two options. And we will ask product name. Prompt, enter the product name. Enter product name. First, we will ask his username. Then what is his role? Admin, customer, manager, what is his role? Then we will take the product name. Now, what we will do here is we need to allow everybody to read its value. Everybody can read value, but everybody cannot set value, right? Everybody can read. Then we need a getter. By using a getter, you can read the value from a property and you can return. Now, this getter requires a alias name for this property. It requires an alias name. How to access that property? So we will give a reference name for that property as product name. Product name is an alias name, right? That means by with this name, we can refer this property. You can give any name. I am giving reasonably the same name, but this time capital letter P and capital letter N. Now what it should do is every getter should return value. It should return value. What is the value to return? It should return the current product name. This value it should return. How to access the members in a class? You know, in JavaScript, the members of a class are accessed within the class by using this keyword. Am I right? You know that. So generally, the members of a class are accessible within the class by using this. This dot, what is it? Underscore product name. That means we are accessing this product name. Okay. Now setter product name. It will take new name and it will set that name into this product name property. Whatever the new name entered, it will take that new name and it will set into it, but it will not allow everybody to set. Before setting that new name, it will verify if role is equal to admin. If role is equal to admin, then only this dot underscore product name, it must set the new name. That means whatever new name you entered, it will take that new name and it will store in that property only when the role is admin. If role is not admin, then here it will put a message. I will put a message document.write. I will say hello and that username. Username, we will collect whatever they entered. Hello username, you are not authorized. You are not authorized to set product name. This message we will give. We will say that hello user, you are not authorized to set product name. So, or you say that your role, what is its role? We will print that role also here. Your role is not authorized. Your role is not authorized to set the product name. That's what we are defining. Okay, that means now actually in this we have only one property. In a class, we are having only one property, and that property have two accessors. One is getter, another one setter. Getter allows to read the value and return. Setter allows to store the value. But to store value into that property, we set some restriction. That means everybody cannot store. Only the people with the role admin can store the value into it. Okay. Now the property is ready. Once the property is ready, now we will create an object for that class. And what we will do is we will access obj.product name. Product name is the reference for that property. Into that, we will store the product name that is entered here. That means in the beginning, we will collect the product name, username, and role. That product name we will assign. We are going to enter that product name here. That means now see the concept, what happens. When you enter this product name, it have to store that name into this property, but it will not store. Before storing, it will go to this accessor. Before storing, it will go to this accessor. It will send the product name here. Now what happens here is, it is going to verify, is this matching or not? That means role is matching with admin or not. It will verify role is matching with admin. If role is matching with admin, then only this new name will be stored inside this product name. That means you are trying to store product name, but it is not directly storing. It is verifying, is the role matching or not? If the role matching, then only it is allowing to store. Otherwise, it is rejecting it. So this is the concept of accessors. Now I will print that name. Whatever name they entered, I will print if they entered. Then what we will do, we will write a condition. If obj.product name, what does this means? Obj.product name means if product name is defined. If product name is defined, print that product name. That means document.write. We will say product name is equal to whatever the product name they entered, obj.product. This is getter. We are accessing and returning. What is this condition? This condition is verifying, is there any value inside that name or not? I hope you people know it can be written like this also. If it is not equal to undefined, you learned in JavaScript. What does it means? Not equal to undefined means it is defined with a value. You can verify simply like this. This indicates it is defined with a value. If it is defined with a value, then it will display the value. If it is not defined with value, then it will display something else. Let's see now. I will run this and see here. It is asking. So it will ask here the name. Username I entered John. Okay. It is asking role. Role I entered customer. It is asking product name. Product name I entered some Samsung TV. Then it will say, John, your role customer not authorized to set product name. That means it is not allowing. Okay, let's run this again. I entered username John and role is admin. And I am entering product name Samsung TV. It is okay. Any another user tries to store data into that property, it is not allowed. This is what your JavaScript teaches you, right? Generally, we expect people to learn all this and come to learn React, not like dumb, right? This is what we need. People at React means, see, a high advanced level technology you are learning, which is used by Amazon, Netflix. And you say, I don't know JavaScript. It is like joke, right? That means you cannot touch React like high level technologies without complete perfect knowledge of JavaScript. No chance. You can't even work in any React project also. React is very simple. React is very, very simple. Only for the people who are perfect in JavaScript. Otherwise, it will look like complicated. Because why I spent almost 2 weeks now? Because actually this is a general React, right? We will start with React first day itself. But if you don't know all these, and if you already know entire JavaScript and you are good in the skills, then it is easy to handle. If you don't know, at least you need to know that these I have to prepare and come. Understood? That means these all general concepts that we discuss in JavaScript. I'm just giving simple overview of this. You go through this, and later when you get time, you have to learn all these in JavaScript perfectly. Then only you will be a React developer. Okay. So this is nothing to do with general React learning, right? But I am just giving complete overview. We are taking one more step to make you understand good about JavaScript, then start React. Okay. So these all very detailedly you will learn when you are learning JavaScript. So what is the purpose of a property? The purpose of a property is to store data. In a class, data is stored in a property. How it is different from a variable? Variables are immutable. They cannot change the state, but properties are mutable. And who can control the properties in a better way? Accessors can control the properties in a better way. They will decide who can read. They will decide who can write. They can change the behavior to read to write, read, write, read only, read, write. That means a property can be set to read only. A property can be set to read, write. For whom it is read only now? For the people who are general users. For people who are admin, for them it is read and write. It can handle both. So this is important about properties. This is one example to make you understand about property and accessor. I will give this example for you. In this, what we are doing, we are taking username, we are taking role and the product name. But before storing that product name they entered, we are verifying is role admin or not. If the role is admin, then we collect the new name they entered and we will store that new name into this product name. If they are not, then we will put some other message there. So whenever user tries to store some product name into it, before storing, it will go and verify the role. After verifying the role, it can put that and display, right? That is the concept. This is two important things. One property, another one accessor. Actually, accessors have another role also. In our general React and working with various concepts in React, we use accessors in another way also. This is one concept, how we use accessor. There is another way of accessor. I will show you. We use accessors in a different concept also. Like you see, suppose we have a class product. In this product class, we have name. It is a property. In that we are saving Samsung TV. This is string type. So we are storing price. Price is equal to some number type. We are storing the name and price. I am storing actually here vendor rating. Vendor rating is an object. Vendor rating is an object. In this vendor rating, actually, suppose I will put like this, rating. Rating is an object. In rating object, that curly brace indicates object. In that object, we have vendor rating. Vendor rating is again object. Object in object. In this, we have rate as some 4.3 and count as some 40. We have customer rating. Customer rating. This is another object. This object have rate as 3.5 and count is having some 5,000, 50,000 like this. Like this we have. Now the point is how to access customer rating rate. How to access the customer rating rate. It's a lengthy hierarchy. What we have to do, we have to create TV is equal to new product. TV is an object. Through this TV, we have to access rating. In rating what? Customer rating. In customer rating what? Rate. That is the hierarchy. There may be several more hierarchies. Sometimes when you design forms, in that form we have so many hierarchies. So many hierarchies like, so in customer rating again, recent ratings, old ratings, ratings in 2002, ratings in 2000. We can filter based on. That means lengthy hierarchy may be there. Now to access every time like this is difficult. Then what you can do is simply in this class you can put an accessor getter, and getter name is customer rate. I will create a customer rate, and what this customer rate have to return, it should return this dot rating dot customer rating dot rate. That's it. Now whenever I want to access this, I can just use this name. That means I will print here document dot write. So customer rating, how to access tv dot customer rate. That's it. You don't need to use the complete hierarchy. You just need to define the customer rate, and you can see it is going to return that and show. This is the purpose of an accessor. That means if any element is present at a very inner level hierarchy, you can simply access and use it. This is very much required in various occasions, because when you are working with real-time data, large amount of data will be there. Large amount of data, very complex data will be there. For example, you see, later we will work in React also. Suppose this is NASA API. You see, this is NASA data, NASA API data. This is the official NASA website. They provide some data to general developers, and you see their data. What it is returning? It is returning an object. Object have a property called photos. Photos is what type? Array. In that array, object. In that object, ID, sol, camera. Camera is another object inside it. Object, array, array, object, object in object. Like this, a lengthy hierarchy may be there. Then accessing this kind of data from a lengthy hierarchy every time and interacting is very risky. For that, we use the technique of these accessors. We create an accessor, through that we can access any element at inner level hierarchy. This is very important while working with the classes. This is another example. These are two basic examples we have learned here. So what is an accessor and how this accessor is going to work? So you have learned two things, two members in a class. One is property, another one access. Data is stored in properties, and properties are controlled by using accessors. Next, what about method? What about the concept of method? Method is nothing but generally, technically, method is actually, method defines functionality. That means a method specifies the actions to perform. That means functionality in class is defined by using method. The functionality in class is defined by using methods. Data in class is defined using property. Actually, class is a combination of data and logic. So class is a combination of data and logic. Data is in properties and logic is defined in functions. That means class is an entity that comprises of both data and logic. Data is in property and logic is defined in methods. Now, outside the class, logic is in functions. Outside the class, logic is in functions. Inside the class, the logic is in methods. And similarly, technically here, syntax will be like this. Suppose outside class, you will have a function name. Suppose you are inside class some product. Inside the class, generally you will have a method name. This is how we write the methods. That means outside the class, we use the keyword function. Inside the class, directly the name. And very important is all method features are same as function. You learned function related so many features like, so parameters, am I right? Like rest parameters, return, right? Returns. So recursion. So like arrow techniques, everything same as function. Then what is difference between function and method? If all are same, then what is difference between a function and method? Actually, method is mutable. Method is mutable and the functions are immutable. Functions are immutable. The mutable and immutable. In a class, the functionality is defined using method. In a class, we configure that using method. And outside the class, it is defined by using functions. And everything about method is same like function. Only the point, this is immutable. Another concept is there. Actually, in your JavaScript, you will learn that detailedly. Generally, in software programming, there will be three options. One is methods, we have functions and procedures. In software programming, to handle functionality, you will come across with these three things: functions, methods, and procedures. So procedures you will mostly see in database programming. When you are working with Oracle, MySQL, you will learn and work with stored procedures. There will be a concept called stored procedures that is related to database. Now, if anybody asks what is difference between method, function, and procedure, what is the difference between these three? Actual technical definition is methods always void type. That means methods are not intended to return any value. Methods always what type? Void. They are not intended to return a value. But functions can return value. Function can return value. And procedure may or may not return value. Depending on situation, it will change. Procedure can change dynamically. It can change dynamically. It can return, it will not return. Depending on the logic, it can change itself. That is procedure. Actually, you will not see this in general programming. You will see in only database programming. For example, suppose I return like this: select star from table. Some table name, like Oracle, MySQL, we write the queries like this. What is this meaning of this query? We are reading all records from a table. If table don't have records, will it return error? If table don't have records, then it will be void type. If table have records, then it will store the records. That means it will change according to the situation. So it is not a function or a procedure or a method. It is called as a procedure. A procedure can change itself from void to return, from return to void. If data is coming, it will change to return. If data is not coming, it will change to void. Methods are not like that. Methods are always void. Functions are always return. But in JavaScript, they have both behaviors. Method can work like a function, function can work like a method. Just like array can store different types values, it is not like similar type values, same concepts. They can work as both. So functionality is defined by using what? Methods. Defined by using methods. For example, let's see one example for this. Suppose I am creating a class product. In this product class, we have name. So name is some name. and we have some price. Price is some price, and we have some quantity. Quantity is also a number, and we have total. Total is a method. And what this method have to do, it should return quantity into price. That means it should return this dot quantity into this dot price. It should return quantity into price. This is a method which is returning some number. And we have another method, print. This method should print all details. Then it is not returning, it is just use document dot write. It is printing name. How to print the name? This dot name. And in the next line it is printing price. How to print price? This dot price. In the next line it is printing quantity. How to print that quantity? This dot quantity. And in the next line it will print total. Total is coming from a method. Then how do we print the method? This dot total. Total we call like a method. That is how we define. That is how we configure and define. Now here you see, here we are running this, and so see, we need to access this print and print the details. We will create an object for that class. Let obj is equal to new product, and through that object we have to access which method? Print. Then it is going to print the details and display the detail. So we configured the name, price, quantity. These are what? Properties. They contain data. What is total and print? These are methods. These are methods. This is the quantity. These are properties, and these are methods. And method can be parameterized or parameterless. It may return a value, it may not return a value. It can be even defined with arrow technique. It can be configured with arrow technique. It can have recursions. It can have rest parameters. Everything same. Every concept is same. So functionality is defined in methods. Is defined in methods. This is example. Now the question, how you will access in a module system? How you will access in a module system? In a module system, how to access this? I will show you. Let's build a library now. Let's build a library. So this is our HTML page. We want to build a library. Let's go to the product module. In this product module, in library modules, we have a product module. In that product module, we are defining a class called product. And in this class, we will define some members. That means like name. Name is some name. And we will define price. That is some price. We define some quantity, and we will put a total. And this total is going to return this dot quantity into this dot price. It is going to do that. Now what I want to do is, I want to access only this total and use in my application. I want to access only this total and use in my application. First thing is, whatever you defined in this class is not accessible outside, because you defined in this module, product module. Product module have a class called product. And is this class accessible outside? It is not accessible outside. To make it accessible outside, we have to export. Every member in a module, if you want it to access outside, you have to mark it as export. Okay, now in this class, there is a total method. There is a total method. This total method, we mark it as export. But actually, already the class is marked as export. Then no need to mark this as export, because it is already set for export. So later in your React, you will find methods, classes with export. We will see that such libraries you are going to work and handle. Now, how to use this class in our HTML page. Tell me now. Suppose I have a paragraph here. I want to print those details. Now, how to access? We have to put a script. What is the script type? Script type is what? Module. Here we have to import. Am I right? Import. Import which class? We have to import class now because the members are present in a class. Which class to import? We have to import product class. From where? We have to import from dot dot slash. What is it? Library slash. So it is dot dot. It is in the same location. So we use dot slash. In that library, in that what? Modules. And what is the module name? Product module dot js. We have to import the class. After importing the class, to access the members of the class, we need to create an object for that class. How to create an object? Let obj is equal to new. What type? Product type. Now through obj, you can access the members of this particular class. And I want to print that in this paragraph. Document.query selector, we can access paragraph. In paragraph inner HTML, we are printing the name. And how do we access that name? Obj dot what? Name. Obj dot name. And we are accessing, suppose here some total. How to access the total? To access the total, obj dot what? Total. Total is a method. We are configuring in this way. So that means we are accessing the members from a class which is present in a separate module. We are creating an object for that class. Through that object, we are accessing the members and using them. This is how actually the module system works. That means it will display like this. That means it will get that product name and display. Now, this time we created a separate module. In that module, we have a class. In that class, we have properties and methods. Those we are importing in our HTML page, and we are creating an object for that, and we are accessing. Can a module have multiple classes? Yes. A module can have multiple classes, right? For example, in this product module, I have another class, export class category. This category class have category name, and it is set as electronics. Electronics, it is a property. Now I want to access this category name of category class, and I want to use it. Then in that case, now here another important, I told you already yesterday that one, you can make it as default. Am I right? If I make it as default, both can be default. No, in a class, there can be only one default. When you make it as default, then how to import? We have to import category, comma, product. Understood? Now, how to access? We have to create another object. Cat is equal to new what type? Category type. And through that, we can access the category name also. At the end, I will print here another category is equal to, we have to access cat dot category name. We have to access the category name. And this is from another class we are accessing. So you can import any number of classes. You can access any number of methods. Actually, in your React, the libraries are built like this. Generally, yesterday I showed you library have function, but in reality, functions are not directly present. They are defined in a class. Library is completely high level built at class. In the class, you will not have functions, you will have methods. And these methods are imported and used, right? Either way, it depends on the requirement. Without a class, you can have functions and variables. With class, we can have methods and properties. Methods and properties. This is the hierarchy of using, right? So in this example also I will give. Here, what you have to do, first point, in the library, in modules, you need to add product module.js. In product module.js, we are creating these two classes. And now index.html, we can import and use them. That is how we use the classes and handle them. That means we are importing the library, we are creating object, and we are accessing the members and printing in a paragraph. That's what we are doing, right? Now, technically in a class, we have two things. What are those? Three things: properties, methods, and accessors. There is one more member in the class. What is that member? In the class, you have another member, and that member is constructor. Technically, class comprises of four members: the properties, methods, and accessors and constructor. What is a constructor? What is the role of a constructor? What is the purpose of constructor? Generally, at learning level, many people will give you an answer. It is used for initializing values, right? If it is used for initializing values, it should be called initializer. Why you call a constructor and use for initializing? So your definition is wrong. If anybody says constructor is used for initializing values, then our question is, then why it is called constructor? It should be initializer. Because it is used for initializing values, then it should be called as initializer, right? But the point here is actually the main purpose of constructor. So constructor is a special type of, so we call as subroutine. Constructor is a special type of subroutine which is responsible for instantiation. Instantiation. T-I-O-N. Yeah. It is used for instantiation. Instantiation means simple. I will give you a simple term. It is responsible for creating objects. Creating objects is called instantiation. That means the main purpose of a constructor is to create objects. It is used for creating objects. That means it is used for instantiation. It is used for instantiation. That means the main purpose is to create objects. So actually constructor is a software design pattern. It is a software design pattern. So generally constructors are responsible for creating an object for class. Actually, every class have a constructor. Every class is having a constructor. Now, what is the role of this constructor is creating objects. If every class have a constructor, why we have to write constructors? That means you can write explicit constructor. You can write explicit constructor. That means you can write a constructor externally. Why to write an external constructor is nothing but to define actions, to perform at the time of creating object. At the time of creating object, if you want any specific functionality to perform, then you can give that functionality to a constructor. So the main purpose of a constructor is to create objects. The constructor purpose is to create objects. And every class inbuilt have a constructor. By default, every class is having a constructor. You see, in this class product, in this class product, we are not having any constructor written here. I will create an object here. Let obj is equal to new product. When I do that, you can see a constructor is there. This is called constructor. By default, a constructor is present for every class. Is constructor is present for every class. And what is the purpose is, it is responsible for creating object. If you can restrict the constructor, then you can restrict creating of objects. That is what your technologies will teach you. Suppose you are learning Java, .NET, C++ like languages. There they will ask you how to design a class so that it cannot create an object by itself. For every class, we can create an object. How to create a class so that object cannot be created for it. Generally, for that, we can restrict constructor. Generally, Java, .NET, C++, these people will tell we can do that by creating a private constructor. If a class is having a private constructor, you cannot create an object or you cannot extend that class. You can prevent the class from instantiation and from extension by creating a private constructor. In JavaScript, it is not possible. JavaScript constructor is different from general constructors you see in C++, Java, and .NET. Because JavaScript is not a OOP language, it supports only some features. Due to that, constructor is not same like other languages. It is different. But concept is same, but it is not having all the abilities that other languages have. Generally, in other languages, constructor can be static. In other languages, constructor can be private. In other languages, constructor can overload. Here, it cannot do any of this. Here in JavaScript, constructor is just a simple constructor for creating objects. And it is responsible for defining functionality which you want at the time of creating object. That means actually what is advantage is generally constructor executes automatically for every object. Constructor executes automatically for every object. I will give a simple example. See, suppose means a general technical example I will explain here. General technical example is nothing but suppose we have some data. So we are having some data here. We are having some data. Suppose we have some data. Now we need to handle some interactions on data like insert, like update, like delete. We need these three actions to perform. Actually, these are three objects. Insert object is responsible for inserting a record. Update is updating the record. Delete is deleting the record. These are three objects. But before inserting, before updating, before deleting, first we have to connect with that data. First we need connect. After connecting, insert, update, or delete. So before insert happens, you need to connect. Before update happens, you need to connect. Delete happens, you need to connect. Then you can give this work. You can give this work to anybody who can do it internally. That means I will ask to insert, but before insert, it will connect. Generally, if we write this connect manually, what happens? If you write manually, before inserting, you have to call the connect every time. But if you give this work to constructor now, if I give this work to constructor, before inserting, it will connect. Before updating, it will connect. It will internally call it. We don't need to call. That means we can give the implicit actions to constructor. What constructor will do? It can perform those actions internally. For example, see, suppose I am having I'm having here in this page, I'm having three buttons. I'm having the button is insert, the button is delete, and the button is update. Like this I am having. Now these three buttons have to do three different tasks: inserting, updating, deleting. I am creating a script here. In this I created a class called database. This database class is having three methods. One is insert method. What it will do, document dot write, it will say record inserted. It will do some work. Similarly, update method, it will say document dot write, it says record updated. Similarly, there is a delete method and document dot write, so record deleted. Now before doing all these, there must be connection also. Then if I write connect also as a method, if I write connect also as a method, every time I have to call it manually. I have to call it manually. Before insert, before update, I need to call it manually. Now I will give this work to constructor. I will give this work to constructor, and to the constructor I will say that, so I will put an alert. I will say connected to database. Connected to database. That means before you insert or update or delete, it will do this work internally. That means at the time of creating an object, automatically it will connect. That means some actions we don't want to manually perform. Some actions we want them to perform internally. Suppose you have to connect, then give that work to somebody who can do it before you do your actual task. They will connect and keep it ready. Just you have to give insert or update or delete. Okay, you finished your work, then automatically that must be deleted. That means we need to give the task in such a way that it will perform implicitly. Then we can manage by using a constructor. So constructor is not for initializing values. Constructor is for creating objects and defining functionality that need to be performed at the time of creating object. At the time of creating object, if you want any functionality to perform, then you can give that work to constructor. Now see here what we will do. We will write a function called insert click. This insert click will create an object for database class, and through that object it will access only insert method. I am accessing only insert method. Am I calling connection? I am not calling connection. I am giving only insert. Okay, similarly we will write another function delete click, and we will call delete method. We will write another one update click, and on that we will call the method called update. These functions should execute when user clicks on this button. On click we have insert click. So here on click we have delete click, and here we have on click we have update click. These are the options we need. Now once you do this, let's run this and see here. Actually, when I click on delete, before deleting, first it will connect, but I am not calling that anywhere. I am not calling that anywhere, but it is working. And I say okay, record deleted. I click on update, it says connected, and okay, updated. I click on insert, it says connected, and it is inserted. That means these, see here, if I don't give this work to constructor, this work I given to ordinary method like connect, which is an ordinary method, which is not a constructor. Then when I click on insert, it says inserted. It is not connected. Actually, without connecting, if it executes this insert, then it will show error saying that you can't insert because there is no connection. As of now, we are just showing message, but in reality it will fail because you have to connect before inserting, and that you are not doing and inserting, then it will come with a failure message saying that it is not connected. That is the reason we will give this work not to an ordinary method, we give this work to an constructor. In JavaScript, the constructors are anonymous. Anonymous means they don't have a name. Generally, in other programming languages, constructor name will be same name as class name. Here, constructor don't have name, just anonymous. And constructor cannot overload. There can be only one constructor. In other programming languages, constructor can overload. C++, Java, .NET languages, constructors can overload. Constructors can be private. Constructors can be static. Here, no chance. Here, only simple constructor with a certain functionality. That is what actually you need to understand. Now, if I give to constructor, then it will connect and it will insert, right? This is the basic role of a constructor. This is what you need to understand about class. The class related concepts. One is how we can use the properties, the methods, the accessors, and the constructor. And what you regularly use in React about class is not only this, you will use another concept in React about class, that is inheritance. That means while working with classes, you will have to work with another concept called inheritance. Inheritance is very common while working with React. Classes, inheritance, their rules are very important because React uses lot of inheritance related mechanism. So you should be very perfect in understanding the rules of inheritance. Actually, what is the purpose of inheritance? It enables reusability and extensibility. It enables reusability and extensibility. We can reuse the code and we can extend the code. But here some rules are there, you need to learn them because these rules will be very complicated when you are using classes in React. If you don't know the rules, then errors will come. You will get errors. How to use this reusability and extensibility? Just one simple example I will show you. JavaScript classes supported with inheritance. What is the purpose of inheritance? Let's see. One simple option I will show you. Suppose here in this same concept, I will create another one here, and this example, Here, what we are doing is we are creating a class called HDFC. And this is HDFC. This is version 1. HDFC version 1. That is HDFC version 1 class. In this class, there is a property here. We have a property called, suppose, personal. And in that we will put personal banking. Like this we define. There is another one, NRI. So, and I said some NRI banking. That means in the first version of this banking application, they introduced 2 features. One is personal banking, another one NRI banking. And we can print these 2 details. We can use a print method. By using the print method, we can print these 2 details. What is it? One is personal banking. We are defining that here. This dot what? Personal. And in the next line, we are printing this dot NRI. This dot NRI. We are printing those details and showing them. That means these are the 2 features available in bank application. After few days, they have to add one more feature to this application. They have to add one more feature to this application. Then they can directly add. They can directly add, na? But we don't recommend this. We don't recommend this. We don't want that existing version to be disturbed, because suppose currently Windows version is 11. Everybody using Windows 11? No, you people may be still using Windows 8, Windows 10. If I ask why you are not using Windows 11, then you will ask, why should I use? I will say that some new options are there. He will say that I don't want them. I don't want them. I don't want those new features. So why should I install? That means I am okay with the features what I am having. Then why should I get a new version? So you should not disturb the version which is already in use. Then without disturbing the version, how you will develop a new version? That means you have to extend this version. That means we are developing another version called HDFC version 2. But in this 2 version, we said loans. We said loans. In that we say personal, car and bike loans, something like this. Now very important is here, this loans is in addition to what already they have. This loans is in addition to already what they have. That means whatever they have in version 1, those must be available to version 2. Will you build them again? Will you build them again? No. We just need to extends HDFC version 1. This is called inheritance. Inheritance is extending the code without disturbing the code. Now this extended code can be used by the new version required people. Now this have access of both previous and current. That means now what we will do is we will create a print. This will print document.write. It will print loans details. That means it will print that loans details. How it will print the loans details? This dot loans. It will print that loans details. But it should able to print the previous details also. That means the version 1 related print method of the superclass, that is called superclass. This is called derived class. How you can access the members of superclass? Just by using keyword super. Super dot print, it will access the previous version. That means it can access the previous version. So without rewriting, we are reusing. So inheritance is extensibility and reusability. Reusability. Now this is single inheritance. Single inheritance means one version extended by another. If that extended version is again extended, this is called multi-level. Multi-level inheritance. That means this version 2 I will extend again. I will say HDFC version 3. This extends which version? HDFC version 2. That means in this version, suppose I give some agree, something agree, and this is nothing but government schemes. So this is government schemes, right? These are government schemes. Agree is government schemes. I want to print this. Then what we will do is we have another print method. This print method is going to call super print. That means it is going to call second version. Second version is going to call the first one. That means all first and second features are available. In addition to that, we want to print document.write. What it is? This dot what? Agree. We want to print this also here. That means without disturbing existing, we must able to access, and use the new one. Why you are not editing the same version and giving it? Because they may be used by other people. That means old versions may be still in use. Then we cannot disturb them. So without disturbing, we need to extend them. This is called backward compatibility. At high level in interviews, if anybody asks why I need inheritance to achieve backward compatibility. Backward compatibility means even a new version is available, old version also should able to run. If it cannot, then it is not backward compatible. These days, every software need to be backward compatible. Otherwise, they can't survive. You cannot ask only new version will work for you, right? That means we can use only the version which we need them. For example, now how to implement this C? Suppose what I am doing here, I am creating a simple field set with a legend. So install bank app. And in this, I am giving a drop down. In this option, I will say select version. And here I am giving option as HDFC version 1. I am giving version 1. And similarly, I am giving drop down with some options like HDFC version 1, version 2, version 3. And these options have value as V1, have value as V2, because in code it will be easy. It will be V3. And this is having an ID called versions. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to put a button here. We need to put a button called install. When user selects that install button, I want to put some paragraph and show the details. In the paragraph, I want to show the details. That means nothing but user can select a version and install. I need to show what is in that version. I need to display what is present in that version. That means we will write a logic on click. On click is what? Install click. On install click, we will write here a function as install click. On install click, first we will collect the version. How to collect? Document dot get element by ID. What is it? Versions dot value. It will get that version value. And we will write a simple switch case. Into that we will pass the version. And the case, if the case is V1, that means version 1. What we have to do now? So we will collect the paragraph also. How do we collect? Where P is equal to document dot query selector. Query selector, what is it? Paragraph. Now, if it is version 1 in P paragraph inner HTML, first we will create an object. What is it? let obj is equal to new HDFC version 1 object. And we will access paragraph inner HTML and it will display the print method. We will use the print. Actually, here this print method is printing directly. Then you don't need to use inner HTML. Directly what you can do, we can get obj dot what? Print. Obj dot print. I will use that. That means you don't need a paragraph. We will display those details on a new screen because already it is using document dot write. Okay. Now similarly, this is break. Like this, how many versions we need to create? 3 versions. If version is V2, right? Then this is obj1, this is obj2, obj2 print. Next, if it is version is V3, then obj3 and it will print obj3 dot print. That means now see here, when user selects a version 1 and install, that version detail will come. In that version, what we have? Only personal banking and NRI. Okay, I will select the second version and install. It will get one more. We will do one. What is it? Version V2 and V3. Where it is? All are version 1 only, na? Yeah, here class name we need to change. Yeah. Now I selected version 2, it will get these 3. I selected version 3, then it will get all the details. That means which version user wants, he will select, only that version will come. That means without disturbing the existing, we are extending. This is what inheritance is. This is called extensibility. We call this as extensibility. This is a simple example. Actually, you need to know about inheritance. Right? Without disturbing the class, how you can extend the class. A single and multi-level inheritance. How they are going to work. Right? Now, in this, one more point is there. And one more point is polymorphism and inheritance rules that we will see in next session. Tomorrow we will do that. Right? Tomorrow, in first few minutes, we will finish those 2 topics. Then tomorrow itself, we will start understanding and learning about React. Okay, tomorrow we will finish this. If you have any doubts, we will take doubts on this concept, and then we can start working on React. Mostly by tomorrow, we will start our concept of working on React. Okay, these classes, working with classes, you will see in React also now. Then it will not be new, because already if you are aware of that in JavaScript, you can see how to handle them easily, right? From tomorrow we can start that. Okay, right. These all notes I will upload into the same old classroom link. Okay, you can get it from there. Right.